It's that time again as Iron Country brings you the Fishin' Hole. Keep up to date with the latest products and learn fishing tactics from some of the best anglers across North America.
Let's give him a warm welcome this morning to the Fishin' Hole 2014 National Freshwater Fishing Hall of Fame inductee Dale Stroschein. And this week's guest, we are going to introduce to you Larry Smith from Larry Smith Outdoors. We bring you another fantastic guest this week. It's legendary Al Linder on the Fishin' Hole.
And my pleasure to be here, Jerry. Looking forward to it.
Here's your host, Hurricane Jerry.
Good morning, Hurricane Jerry with you as we talk fishing in the State Line area. We do it every Saturday morning. It's 7:20 a.m. here on Iron Country 1019 and 1490. You can stream anywhere on at ironcountry.fm or even download the free TuneIn radio app from your Google Play Store and listen from your mobile device. The Fishin' Hole this morning is brought to you by Jerry Sports Service in Beloit, located along the Rock River just off of Highway 51, home of the ultimate fishing boats from Lund, top of the line outboards from Evinrude, including the new E-Tech G2s. Jerry repairs all makes and models of any boats and motors. You can give them a call at 608-365-4520 or even visit them online at jerrysboats.com. Yeah, we are, people have been fishing, anglers have been fishing here in southern Wisconsin and even some of the lakes in northern Illinois for muskies. And, we're getting ready here for the northern part of the state, and that's going to be opening up within, I guess that's opened up right now, looking at the calendar. And, it's full-blown muskie season now here, especially in the state of Wisconsin. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to bring on Mike Keyes from Mike Keyes Outdoors. And, Mike, how you been?
Good. How have you been, Jerry? I
have been doing good. I was just talking to you off air a little bit. I have yet to what a line, especially for muskies yet, but that's coming real soon here, especially we're just talking. I definitely like to get up in the Green Bay area, too, and do some muskie up there. You'd almost have to think one of these days we'll have a state record muskie out of that system.
I agree. It's got great potential, and our DNR has done a wonderful job managing that fishery.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit, especially getting into the early part of the muskie season, and we're going to talk a little tactics right now, maybe some key areas maybe to hit muskies, some like we were saying, water temperatures. This year it's kind of a little different than it has in the past few years. It's been a very cool spring so far, and water temperatures is key to any species, and especially when we're talking muskies. And you were saying too, there might be certain areas of the states and some of the waters here in Wisconsin, some of these might have yet to have possibly spawned yet. You want to maybe touch a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually, I live in the Nacoos area, so we're south of Highway 10. So our season's been open for several weeks, and what I noticed is, again, the cooling water temps, and we've got 8 fish in the boat already this year. But what surprised me is when we started out, it was all small males, and they were really clean. And what I mean by that is, Jerry, is that they didn't have the spawning scars on them. And so you've got a shot at a female that hasn't dropped. So weight-wise, you've got a shot at a giant fish with these cooler temps. So I'm actually really liking the way this season is setting up. And our biggest fish so far this year is a 47.5, and she still had all of her eggs, and she was clean as a whistle.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's almost kind of like, fishing, in the fall for them, the way, like you said, the way the water temperatures are, and usually you target muskies and usually trophies in the fall, but now everything's legal, and potentially with the way these water temps have been, it sounds like, like you said, it's setting up really well especially this time of the year, which is kind of rare. But hey, now is the time to take advantage of it. And Mike, what do you actually use for our listeners that are listening right now for targeting muskies? Let's talk your setup, maybe for rods and reels and line, and we'll talk a little bit about that, and then kind of maybe talk a little bit some of the baits that you're throwing this time of the year.
Well, this time of the year we're not throwing the big baits, so medium heavy rods. In the world of musky fishing, everything's gotten huge. Even our rods. I mean, I'm throwing a 10-foot rod now, and what that allows you to do is just you get a longer cast on it, but really where it really comes in is in the figure eight. You just got more distance. So the longer rods, medium heavy, reels, I'm with 13 Fishing. They make awesome musky reels. Their Concept A3 and their Concept Z are very affordable, but yet can handle the big stuff that we're throwing.
Right.
But this time of the year, we're downsizing. We're throwing side-to-side jerk baits. Your glide baits do really well. Topwater does very well this time of the year. Your smaller bucktails and twitch baits.
Yeah, that makes sense. And usually this time of the year you want to go with a smaller profile bait for this time of the year for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, just looking at on the calendar here, and it's hard. What's a temperature, Mike, in the past where you actually maybe once we get in the summer where you start to throw maybe topwaters? Is there a specific water temp?
It is. Yeah, I mean, the old rule of thumb, Jerry, used to be 60 degrees and better for topwater. But I have caught many fish on topwater in cooler temps. What I go by is a topwater is mimicking some type of bird or a rat or something swimming on the surface. So when I see baby ducks, and I don't really go off of water temp as much as I see what nature is providing. And what that is the small ducks, the small birds that are nesting, if they have their hatchlings, that's food.
Right.
And so then I'm going to throw topwater because, muskies are opportunists. They're predators. And if there's a easy meal for them to grab, they're going to grab it. So it really, to me, that old concept of 60-degree water temp or better for topwater, I threw that out the window years ago. It's matching the hatch. It's if there's small critters on the surface, then I'm going to throw topwater to mimic that.
Absolutely, yeah. Those are definitely some good tips right there. I got to ask you too, Mike. Are you familiar with the? I know you're a tournament guy. What's going on with the tournaments this time of the year? I know you fish tournaments. You got any input on that and what's going on with that with the COVID-19 and stuff?
We do actually. It just came out, and our first tournament, I fished the PMTT, which is the Professional Muskie Tournament Trail. It's the oldest circuit out there, and this was the first year that our first event down in Cave Run, which was last month, was canceled. And so we were all kind of on edge going, well, are we going to have tournaments? But the PMTT just posted, and you can go to their website, and it's promuskie.com if you want to participate or learn more about it. But they did reschedule it. And the World Championship was going to be on the Chippewa Flowage, but they've scheduled now the championship, which would be in October now down in Cave Run, Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting, yeah. I mean, because we've always fished that. We've always kicked that tournament trail off down on Cave Run, and that's early spring, and now we have a chance to fish it in October, which actually I'm pretty pumped about.
Yeah, yes, yeah. Now, that's going to be a different way of approaching it. Have you ever fished down in the fall? I know you've done shows and stuff down there in the past. Have you ever fished Cave Run down there in the fall at all?
I have not, and that's why I'm kind of excited about it, because I've fished it early spring, and when that bite really gets good down there is in January. January, February, and March can be very productive down there, and I have fished and filmed down there at that time of the year, but never in October. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
it's gonna be, it's a cool body of water down there. So there should be a lot of there's weed opportunity. There should be a trolling bite, big bait bite going on. So pretty stoked about it.
That's awesome. You got a new sponsor this year, and we highly promote RS Nets here on the Fishin' Hole, as Rock River Bait Box is the only authorized dealer for RS Nets here in southern Wisconsin. And we've got the Kelly Island, my son and I, when we do our walleye fishing, they just got a big batch of RS musky nets. Tell me your opinion and how you feel about RS Nets, and that they're just solid nets. One of the best nets, I think, out there right now. And the best thing I like about it, they're made in the USA.
That is number one. But it also is I have struggled the last couple of years with the net companies out there. And then a buddy of mine told me about the RS nets. I ordered one and fished with it, and it's everything a musky guy is looking for. It's one, very rigid. Secondly, the bag on it is coated. Either the nets that are out there, Jerry, are coated too much to where they're very stiff and not very pliable. And then there's companies that aren't dipping it enough, and your hooks get weaved in the net. And nothing worse than than having a fish halfway out of the water and it's stuck to the hook, and the hook is stuck in the net. And now you've got to cut hooks, because number one priority is to get that fish taken care of properly.
Right.
And the RS nets definitely do that. Plus, I didn't know this. I talked with Jeff Miller, one of the owners there, and those nets are all hand-tied by the Amish.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. I mean, I was really, really impressed with that. And again, of course, an American company. Yep,
made in America. And, the Rock River Bait Box, one of the sponsor of the Fishin' Hole here on Iron Country. When it comes to a net, especially walleyes, and now I just talked to Brian, who manages up the store up there, and he said, they've got a big shipment of musky nets in there now. So definitely, get on up to the bait box and check it out. Mike, any bucket list, before we let you go here, any bucket list trips, this year from muskies that you plan on doing, or are you kind of going to hit, different or the same old areas that you normally do?
We don't. We try to mix things up. I mean, how can you not go to Green Bay?
Right.
I mean, you're going there for a shot at possibly a world record fish. But, we're river guys, and we're always looking. And, I never plan nothing, Jerry. In the world of musky fishing, you just can't. Whether there's too many variables that come in. So I just wake up in the morning, and if my right leg is hurting, then I go east.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding. No, I really don't plan anything. We just, we keep our ear to the ground like any good musky fisherman does. I have certain areas that I want to go check out. I pride Keyes Outdoors on the fact that we fish pressured water, and we're always exploring.
Right.
I just got off of a 3-day float trip to where we're fishing a river that it's just not on the radar, and we didn't know what to expect going into it, but we ended up having success there, and now it's part of my portfolio as far as fishing goes on a new area that I can go and explore.
Yeah, that
learn more.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing, Mike, too, I got a compliment on the show, and I've been watching for quite a few years now. You show just about everything on there, even the